Hello everyone, Ryan here. So for this week's Music Monday, I wanted to talk about Rob Zombie. That's right, Rob Zombie. Now I know he also fronted the band White Zombie back in the early 90s. But, I mean, granted, I do like White Zombie as well. It's just that by the time I actually got into their music, they'd already been broken up for like almost 10 years. And by that time, Rob Zombie was already touring in support of his solo stuff, namely his album titled Hellbilly Deluxe. So that was the first. I'm not sure if that was his first solo album or not. I should look that up. I think it might have been. But anyways, for me, that was the first album that I listened to by Rob Zombie all the way through. And because before that, I know he had a couple songs that were part of some other movie soundtracks, mostly horror movies. And then, of course, eventually, a lot of people know he moved on to directing horror movies. Most notably, he did the remake of Halloween. I want to say he did 2 of them. I'm not sure. Alright, he definitely did at least 1. But as far as his music is concerned, he definitely had an impact on my musical taste. Also, I remember back, this was, I want to say like late 90s, probably even 98 or 99, a friend, me and my friend Luis, we used to play the game called Twisted Metal. It was for PlayStation, the original PlayStation. And so we used to play Twisted Metal a lot. And, because, we were teenagers and there wasn't much for us to do on the weekends. So, yeah, we would just hang out at each other's houses and play video games pretty much until our hands got tired. But so yeah, Twisted Metal was one of the games we played the most, and of course, several of Rob Zombie's songs were part of the soundtrack to Twisted Metal. And I want to say later on there was one game, because there was like Twisted Metal and there was several other sequels. I know in one of the sequels, Rob Zombie recorded all of the music. He did all the music for one of the Twisted Metal games. I want to say part 2 or part 3. But yeah, so that, and then plus later on, because I think Rob Zombie is like, because as far as my friend Luis was concerned, he's always been into rap and hip hop and R&B stuff, and also like salsa stuff, and he's definitely not a metalhead. So he got into Rob Zombie's music also mostly because because it just reminded him of playing the game Twisted Metal. And then eventually one year, I want to say in 99 or 2000, or no, I think 2001. Yeah. Sometime in late 2001, Rob Zombie came into town, and he was touring with Ozzy Osbourne, and it was kind of like supposed to be some kind of like holiday tour kind of thing. And Rob Zombie, technically, I want to say like Rob Zombie co-headlines the tour with Ozzy, so yeah. They had like several opening bands, I want to say, which I believe one of them was Mudvayne. Yeah. I forget the others. But Rob Zombie, he put on one hell of a show. I remember, and they performed in the same space, like the same arena where I saw Iron Maiden perform. I want to say it was like the year prior to that. Yeah. And, but yeah, Rob Zombie, he definitely put on one hell of a show. I didn't hear any mistakes at all, no technical difficulties. He even had these like giant robotic like spiders and other insect looking things come out and like slowly crawl across the stage during different songs. And he had like this one huge robot, like I want to say like maybe like 10 or 11 foot robot or something. It could have been a guy in a costume, I don't know. Some guy on stilts or something like that. But, and then he had like these different lasers going off, and also, of course, like go-go dancers dancing on the side, both on the left and right side of the stage. And it was definitely an awesome show. Unfortunately, that was the only time I ever saw Rob Zombie. And then, of course, Ozzy put on a pretty cool performance as well. I want to talk about that too, but in a later video thing. Also, too, I know later on I found out through an interview that Rob Zombie did for some guitar magazine sometime in the 80s. He actually got started. He got a start by helping to design the sets for the show called Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's a children's show, popular children's show. If you're not familiar with that, I suggest you Google it. Of course, Pee Wee Herman was a very popular figure for a lot of kids, myself included, and he was just this wacky guy. But apparently, Rob Zombie, he actually helped design a lot of the sets or something like that. There was even he even mentioned one particular wall of the set. He drew every single little drawing and doodle that was on there, and it was covered with hundreds and hundreds. I think maybe even close to 1,000 little drawings of weird creatures and whatnot. And so, because Rob Zombie, he's also an artist of sorts. So, yeah, I believe in the past he's done some of the artwork for White Zombie's albums and stuff like that, and a little bit with his own albums too. And so, yeah, I don't know. On top of Rob Zombie's music, I also like the fact that he's also an artist and he's a director. Of course, he directed, I want to say actually wrote too. He's a writer too, obviously. But yeah, I guess he wrote and directed. There's that movie called House of a Thousand Corpses, and then the sequel, The Devil's Rejects. I definitely like both of those movies. Definitely, to me, those movies, they embody everything that you would expect from a horror movie, from a good horror movie. Not from I don't know. For me, it's just those movies. When you compare them to a lot of the stuff, more recent horror movies, to me, they're just easily 10 times, 20 times better. I don't know, that's just my opinion. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I just wanted to mention that, talk a little bit about Rob Zombie's music. Of course, some of his favorite songs. I mean, I don't know why I said so. I got kind of twisted around, but some of my favorite songs by Rob Zombie are, at least from his album Hellbilly Deluxe, Superbeast, Dragula, Living Dead Girl. I pretty much like that entire album. Because like I said, it was the first album by Rob Zombie that I listened to all the way through. And, yeah. I mean, I also like that his music, to me, like, at least I want to say, like, his first couple albums, also with the White Zombie too, obviously, but his music always tends to, like, invoke, always has this kind of like horror, little bit of horror vibe, old school sci-fi kind of vibe, and of course it has this overall theme of just general weirdness and being unusual in certain areas and whatnot, and so that's I like that too. I like music that is out of the ordinary, because I'll admit, oftentimes, I listen to enough of the same thing over and over. I do get tired of it. It doesn't necessarily mean that I don't like that music. It just means that, I prefer to listen to something that's out of the box, or outside the norm, or rather outside what society deems to be the norm. So, so that'll do it. Of course, I will provide links to where you can check out some of Rob Zombie stuff. Oh yeah, I forgot. I also like, he's done several covers. Well, of course, I'll provide some links to those. I know he did a cover song. He covered one of Lionel Richie's songs, and he actually performed it with Lionel Ritchie one time. So it was quite a while ago. So I'll see if I can find a link to that too. So yeah, definitely worth watching at least once. So yeah, that pretty much do it for this week's Music Monday. Of course, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, till next time, don't forget, keep it real, keep on rocking, and peace.